certain age, the soup. And tonight we have a special brew going for y'all, stirring up the soup this evening. We got two special guests joining us here. One from the Dirty down in ATL. I'm going to let him introduce himself when we bring him in. And we got another 716er. We all 716ers, but we got a Buffalo resident coming in and joining us too this evening. P-Double, how you feeling?
Peace, everybody. Welcome to the soup. I'm doing all right, fam. Trying to grow a beard. This shit taking mad long. Got some nasty work going on here. Patch Adams around this motherfucker.
I'm trying to get it to come in and whatnot.
Get it to come in, you know what I'm saying? Get my sexy on and shit.
Man, it ain't nothing wrong with it shit. It's wintertime. That's time for beard weather. You know what I mean? So again, this is the latest episode of the soup. Thanks again for tuning in. Please share and subscribe and comment down low. On this particular episode, we got some flavorful shit jumping off today. We got your man, Yasin Bey, also known as Mos Def. We got a clip from Mos Def coming on. We're going to react to that. We also got Joe Budden in his podcast reacting to what Yasin Bey had to say. Then we're going to take it to the big podcast. And the big podcast is with Shaq Diesel. Shaq Diesel has something very interesting to say, Lord, and I wanted to bring it to my mans and them and the friends to the show to see what they thought about what the big Aristotle had to say. And then last but not least, we're going to go legal eagle one time. We're going to add some legal stuff to the soup one time. And we're going to get into DA Fonnie Willis out there in ATL pressing charges on Agent Orange himself, Donald Trump, but also it's messy right now with Fonnie Willis. Lord, she adding some bullshit to the soup. So we definitely gonna chop it up about that and see how we feel about that on this particular episode. So what I want to do is this, man, is I want to go ahead and bring our guests on here tonight. No doubt. So here we go, y'all. We got my man Mecca Don in the building, and we got the one and only, the legend himself, Mr. Noble Savage. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves, man, to the soup.
Go ahead and spark it, Noble.
Yo, listen. First of all, blessings. Happy New Year, everybody. Let's hope 2024 is less problematic than 2023. You feel me?
No doubt.
Say word. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, my man Don.
My name is Don. Y'all, a lot of y'all know me. I'm from the town. I live in the ATL. These is my real friends, so I'm glad to be on here and get a chance to share my opinion. It's an excellent podcast.
I'm happy to see you, and I'm not happy to see you and whatnot. There's no need for you to be your age and still able to grow hair, and I can't.
That is some bullshit.
Yeah, man.
He probably got vision too and shit.
I just started growing it for no reason, man. I had some time. I just started letting it grow, man. And 4 years later, man, so it's still going.
Listen, my biggest regret is the fact that I didn't try out more hairstyles before I went bald.
Before I went home.
Let me find out, Noble, that you going classic with Jealous One's Envy one time on the you know
Jose.
Come on, man. But yeah, man, welcome to y'all, man. We definitely welcome y'all to the show, y'all friends and family. Go back long ways. This is the first time and not the last time we hope to have y'all on. You know what I mean? Did y'all have any
pause on the long ways part?
No doubt. Y'all got anything that y'all want to get off your chest? Anything y'all promoting? Anything that people need to know before we keep going on?
Noble.
I want something. I want to jump out there right now and say this briefly. If you make more than $75,000 a year, vote for Trump.
Ooh, so that is something
I'm coming in hot, right?
Start the conversation with, and that is something that will be talked about at one point in time, but not this time. But go ahead, Don. What you got to say? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want?
I'm always promoting the Creative Capital family of companies. We got Creative Capital Cannabis. We got Creative Capital Consulting. We got Creative Capital. We got one more, Jay. What's up? We got just 3 companies, but it's the Creative Capital family. Those are all my companies. They're all functioning there, and we do everything from process improvement to strategic development to cannabis culture, creative capital clothing, and I got a t-shirt line too. So I just try to keep everything under the Triple C name. That's about it.
Creative capital, baby.
That's what it is, man. Keep getting your entrepreneurship on. We love it over here. Again, this is the Soup, and what we do on the Soup is we know everybody's time is valuable, and everybody doesn't have time to just sit down and listen to podcasts and watch different YouTube channels. So what we do is we come together with like-minded individuals, and we talk about some of the channels and some of the YouTube channels we like and some of the podcasts that we listen to, and we get together and we take certain things from certain channels and we play it, and then we chop it up about it. Now, Noble, is there any particular pod that you're on right now that you want to introduce to the people?
I mean, it's a number of different things. My podcast that I typically listen to on a day-to-day, it's a lot of NPR, Money Planet. I like to listen to Freakonomics. I'm a big fan of this show, of course, obviously.
Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down low.
And recently, after Cat Williams, I'm on the Shea joint now. I'm like, yo, this came in hot.
No doubt, no doubt. Don, is there any pods or channels that you frequent that you like to bring to the channel?
Obviously, I watch you guys. I've been watching since the beginning. But the three that I watch commonly, literally every day, I watch Pat McAfee. I've been on McAfee since like 2018. I've been a huge McAfee fan. I just love the show, man. I really do. I really do enjoy the show. Then I'm on Gilbert, and I'm on Shay. That's it, man. Those really the only ones that I catch. I catch my little occasional. I'm more of a YouTuber than I am a podcast. I catch a lot of stuff on YouTube. I might catch the family, the guy who does the family, my little gangster shit, stuff like that. But yeah, generally Club Shay, and I've been with actually the Nightcap more than Club Shay. Actually, I watch the night because I like the sports part.
Right.
The Nightcap, Gilbert, and Pat McAfee. That's how I really be on.
That's what's up, man.
Nightcap too before too.
I appreciate y'all for bringing those to the table. So with today's episode, man, of the Soup, we got a nice, tasty brew going for y'all right now. We got Yasin Bey, aka Most Def, aka Yasin Bey. We're gonna recognize him what he wants to be called, which is Yasin Bey. So we're gonna respect that. So we're gonna go ahead and keep it moving. And the reason why I brought that up was this, fellas. In the last week or two, he was on the Cutting Room Floor podcast, and he had some very interesting things to say about Drake. I thought it was me being a hip hop head, all of us being hip hop heads. When people we look up to, or people that I should say, people we respect, say certain things, we listen to what they have to say,
right?
And then we build upon it. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I want to go ahead and cut to this piece of him speaking on the culture and Drake. So y'all hold tight, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this up real quick.
I'm happy you bringing this up because briefly I saw some of what was said on social media, but I didn't have a chance to actually see the video.
Is Drake hip hop?
Yeah.
I know.
Drake is
we're here
pop.
for truth. We're here for truth.
Drake is pop to me.
That's fair. In the sense that it's charting like pop music, popular music.
In the sense, like if I was in Target in Houston and I heard a Drake song, so it feels like a lot of his music is compatible with shopping.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
Music.
Or it's shopping with an edge. Or
wow.
Fair. I like Drake's music, but I understand exactly what you're saying.
Of course,
it's commercial, entertaining, fun, good,
it's
formulaic music. It's
likable.
Likable music, yeah.
Likable.
But is it? I'm gonna leave you alone. We're gonna move on.
Woo! So many products. So many SKUs. Look at all these SKUs. Oh, so many products.
So much merchandising, so many barcodes.
I love this mall. Look at this place. I mean, look at this place. They have everything. Everything's here. We have everything here. Oh, this is great. This is a new Drake. You hear it? It's great. Okay. What happens when this thing collapses? This is the thing that we're talking about. Is nobody wants to talk about is what happens when the columns start buckling. Are we not in some early stage of that at this present hour? Are we seeing like the collapse of the empire? Buying and selling, where's the message that I can use? What's in it for your audience apart from being like banging the pom-pom?
In right away. I'm jumping in right away.
Hold up. We're gonna come to
No, we're ready to jump in, huh?
We're gonna come to our guests first because that's how we do. We're gonna respect our guests first. So that was a soliloquy of things that Mos had to say, but most directly how he felt about Drake and hip hop. Go ahead, Noble. Go ahead and let us know how you feel about Mos' statement. And first, do you agree that Drake is P.O.P.?
Yeah, but hip hop music is pop music nowadays. That's the difference.
It is.
Hip hop music is pop music, but I'm biased in two perspectives. One, I don't know if y'all noticed it, but me and Mos had the same frames on. Hey, yo, that makes him a winner. Number two, he said Target, not Walmart. I hate Walmart. I always go to Target too. Also, he was right. It is the kind of hip hop you would hear in Target. But I'll say this to say this, as somebody who considers themselves an MC and all know me, I can tell you without a question, he's a dope lyricist. He's a dope MC. Mm-hmm. And I think that Mos, as a bald-headed man, suffers from the same thing that I do. We hating on people who can still grow hair, like my man Don there and whatnot. He's just mad because he bald. But like I said, Mos is, without question, a pillar of what you would consider to be a real MC. I got a playlist of Mos on my phone that I play all the time. But yeah, I can't agree with what he just said. Because one thing that Drake continues to do is he is moving the culture forward. He is a dope MC. He's a dope lyricist, rapper. But hip hop is pop. You get what I'm saying? Even your most underground MC is a pop MC. Because even underground hip hop is pop music nowadays. You look at the success that Griselda had. Quote unquote, that's underground hip hop, and it's still pop music. I've gone to restaurants before and heard it. Yeah, I gotta disagree on that.
Okay, Dom, what you got to say? Had to say.
I look at it from a couple of different ways. I look at it from the point of view where, as an artist, any type of artist, whether you're a painter, whether you're a musical artist, whatever your artistic talent is, if you're an actor, you want to be seen by as many people as possible, right? From that respect, I understand, like we've all agreed, that it's pop music, and he definitely can spit. Like, he definitely can spit. And I remember telling you back in the day, Fro, if I need to remind you, I was like, yo, Drake brought me back to hip hop, because I literally had stopped listening to hip hop, and he was like, what? He brought you back? I literally stopped listening to hip hop, and you know what I'm saying, before Drake got popular with Storm, his first mixtape with him, Jeezy, all those cats on it. You know what I mean? Bun B. So that's I was hit to Drake back in like 2009, 2008, the same time I became hit to Nicki Minaj. You know what I'm saying? So I've always liked his music, but as far as Mos is concerned, I think his point is that his point can be looked at as two different ways. Whereas there's always been people screaming that this is the end of times, this is it, something's about to happen, we need to be prepared. But then you can also look at it from the point of view, whereas he hasn't obtained the popularity, maybe the respect that Drake has, but not the popularity. So you wonder, is he upset that his message that he's trying to get across, like I said, the kind of doom and gloom thing, not being as heard as much as Drake's party message? That would be my only thing with that. But I think there's a healthy balance with Drake being an MC. I'm not an MC, pardon me, and being a good rapper, and Mos Def being a respected individual. So you just have to find a balance in it, man. I really think hip hop is very subjective at this point.
I got to build on that point that Don just brought up, because in hip hop, a big problem is the fact that oftentimes you can be discounted as a lyricist or artist if your music is more popular than your contemporaries.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
There should not be a penalty because you're successful. If you are a good lyricist, you're a good lyricist.
Mm-hmm.
Drake does possess something that a lot of other rappers have possessed in the past, where they know how to capitalize on how to mass market their music, but create universal messaging that attracts other people. That does not make you a bad MC or a bad lyricist because you have the ability to do two things. And I'm somebody who I would like to consider was an underground MC early on. And I did not understand the balance of the two. At the end of the day, the music business is a business, and the business thrives on the fact that you can have a larger marketing appeal to more people and draw in more listeners. So I'm not going to discount Drake and say that he's not hip hop. I personally think Drake has always been a good MC. Now, the trouble might be is that he might be, as they say, like a one-trick kind of pony, because he figured out a formula and just kept going for that. But if Drake decided, yo, you know what? Never mind this. I'm only going to do underground hip hop, he would kill it too. Either way, he's going to make it happen.
Good point.
What did you get from Yasin Bey?
I think what we're doing is we're battling between hip hop and pop, and the thing is, it's music. So if pop music is popular music, and Drake is considered pop, just because Mos Def says he's pop, that doesn't mean Mos Def is saying anything negative about him. He's just pop, and to me, he reminds me of Madonna. You know how Madonna she'll do Spanish, she'll do other things with music when it comes to whatever genre. She just jumps into whatever she jumps into. It's popular, she gonna do it, and she gonna make it. That's what Drake is. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna appeal to a bunch of people. When it comes to lyricism, I don't know how you guys feel about who's writing what and what's writing who, and if somebody wrote it, as long as they say it and it's hot. I don't think Drake writes a lot of his own lyrics, to be honest with you. And I don't think that's hip hop. Again, it's not positive. It's not negative saying he's not hip hop. I agree with most stuff. Hip hop is graffiti and beatboxing, and you know what I'm saying? I'm a man of a certain age. It's DJing and real lyricism and getting a message across. You know what I'm saying? And with Drake, it's just popular. And like Noble said, he found a balance, which is good. And Noble, you like his lyrics, but who's writing those lyrics, man? You write your own lyrics, right?
I write my own lyrics, but I'll say this to say this briefly. This is why it's important for me to say this too. As somebody who has also been a producer and a songwriter, I don't care who wrote your song.
That's what I'm saying. Does it matter to you?
I actually care more how you perform it, and I care that it's actually entertaining for me. Early on, it was
so you didn't have no issue with Milli Vanilli then.
They didn't perform their songs. That's the difference.
They did. Why didn't they perform it?
No, they didn't do any of the vocal recording. So as a producer, I'll say this.
When they went on stage and sang and danced, that wasn't performing?
That was just them singing and dancing. So just for like context and purpose of a definition from a producer standpoint, to me, the artist is actually the one who's actually performing the words. I've written plenty of songs, and I've written a lot of R&B songs. I can't sing. My voice is horrible. But the words that I penned that someone else sung, that's their song. It wasn't mine. I just wrote the lyrics. And their talent and their vocal performance, regardless to what the words were still going to shine. That's all I'm saying.
Would you want to get paid for that, for your writing the song? Or would you be
I have
cool?
to.
Okay.
I recently just deposited a check from BMI. Shout out to Brad Marquis.
Okay. Shout out to you for your songwriting capabilities.
So doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
That check.
I don't foresee it or call it as Yasin being hating. I just think that's how we feel right now. And at this point in time, Drake is a pop star. You would put Drake in the category with Taylor Swift,
Right,
and Doja Cat and all the rest of them.
Great.
It's funny though, at the same time, Doja Cat can be nominated as the best female MC or rapper. You know what I'm saying? So it gets funny when the money comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I do want to offer some additional context though. We are not going to put Drake in the same category as the three men behind you. He's not a Ghost. He's not a Capitana. He's not a Raekwon. He's a good performance artist. He's
that's popular. Yeah.
Artist that he's a hip hop performing artist. He is not those same MCs. He's not KRS-One.
No,
not at all. And I get where Yasin was coming from. I think all of those things still play a part. Think about where we came from. We all grew up during the same era. They didn't think hip hop would still be here. And we dominate the world right now.
Because the powers that be found out what hip hop could do and would do. And then that's when they put their hands in it and said, we're going to sprinkle in some of this poison. We're going to sprinkle in some of that. But I digress. That's a whole different episode. So as we continue to let the soup boil, we're going to go to another podcast that I frequent now and again, and that's the Joe Budden podcast. So what I want to do is I want to bring Joe Budden and his crew in, and they're going to go in a little bit on what they felt Yasin was talking about. So,
Drake is calling Mos Def a crackhead.
That's just what he did.
What?
Well, that's the actual quote. No, he called him
A bohemian bucket.
Yeah, and he said that in Toronto slang, that's calling him like a crackhead.
Yo, what? A bohemian bucket? That's funny.
That shit funny.
That's funny.
It's funny.
I know niggas don't want to laugh because it's Mos Def. That's just funny, bro. I don't
Mos
care.
Def fan, but that's funny. That's
I
funny.
don't know. Now I got to punch Drake in the face.
It's hilarious. Leave that nigga alone, man. Anybody said it with an accent.
I want to hate it.
And he posted a picture with a mic up.
Saying what? Oh yeah, the hotel room type of vibe.
He said niggas forgot where it started.
In that part.
Somebody about to get in trouble now.
In that part.
Yeah, 6
I always want to hate on those
Antonio.
rich responses, but then maybe it'll just sound fly as a rich person saying it. So I understand it. Like,
now, before we continue on, and I'm sure 4 out of 4 doctors are going to agree, if we lock Drake and Yasin Bey in a room together and give them one microphone, we know who's going to come out of there, right?
Oh, yeah, all day. Mos Def got that.
All right. Okay. So let's continue.
All day. And yo, listen, I want to retract my previous comments about Drake now since he called him a crackhead. That was mad disrespectful.
Yeah, what the fuck
Mos
was you
Def
so
is-
offended for? Why are you offended? You know what I'm saying? Come
Nah,
on.
I
Yo,
gotta be offended.
hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. That room y'all still talking about? Drake be spitting, yo. I'm telling you, Drake be spitting.
Is he taking his BlackBerry with him in there?
Yes, he is. He is.
Yeah, he taking his BlackBerry in there and getting emails, all that, texts
We
and
talking about
everything.
off the top of the dome, man. We ain't talking about no
You
somebody.
talking about a freestyle battle?
Yeah.
We just
Oh
talking
yeah,
about going in
it's a
there
wrap. It's a wrap.
with the microphone and the
That's
best
it.
man come out.
It's a wrap. Most Def is a backpack. One of the original backpackers. Backpack.
Yo, you know what I think we may have neglected to do though? Why don't we define clearly what the context would be to be actually. You get what
Man,
I'm saying?
hip hop is so relative, man. Everybody's got their own
It's
definition of hip
relative, but can we make one of the defining factors of hip hop be the fact that you actually have to be a lyricist who's written your lyrics?
Oh,
If we do that, we have to exclude Drake from the conversation. Then,
for me, that's a prerequisite. I don't. If somebody come in and say you should put this, that's a whole different thing than somebody coming in and say, "Here go a song."
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I can agree with that as well.
So that's MCing 101 for me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I get it out the mud with this cat right here. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And y'all know how serious my man's took it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, that is one of the pillars for me to be an MC.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I can agree with that.
And an MC is two different things. It's like a hot dog and a hamburger. You know what I mean?
All right.
So I guess what we're saying is that it's not that Drake's not hip hop because he's doing hip hop music, but he's not an MC in the traditional
which is a pillar of hip hop. Yeah. So that's why he's considered pop.
I can agree with that.
And for me,
he's a rapper. Yeah,
a rapper is pop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dojo Cat. The list could go on and on to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? We had Vanilla Ice. You know what I'm saying?
See, the thing about it, Fro, what Noble was saying is, if you're true to the art form and you're a lyricist, say Biz Mark, and it crosses over, but it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? And that's the balance of it, because Biz Mark was fun, but he was a lyricist, but everybody could relate to it. You know what I'm saying? And it crossed over without him even trying to, because it was coming from the heart. You know what I'm saying? Drake is purposely doing this for, you know what I'm saying, for crossover.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Somebody like Nicki Minaj, right? Who is a lyrical monster, right? She's a monster on the mic, right? She started with mixtapes, and obviously now she's one of the biggest artists in the world. Is she hip hop?
Of course.
Okay.
To me, because it's coming from here. And she writes her own shit. Now, if it crosses over, it's not her fault that it crossed over. But of course she gonna benefit from it. She's gonna take the benefits from it. You know what I'm saying? But Nicki spits. To me,
she's not writing all her own lyrics though. Let's stop.
If she's not writing her own lyrics, then she a rapper then.
Yeah, no, Drake actually wrote some of her lyrics.
Okay, she a rapper then. She started off hip hop, she crossed over to pop. So it's just pop. It is and it's not negative though. There's nothing negative about it.
It's not.
Right.
And it goes back really to another pod that I frequent a lot, which is the Drink Champs. And they had EPMD on way back. They had EPMD on. Eric Sherman said it best. They should have broke it up. Like they have alternate rock, they have alternative rock, and they have heavy metal. You know what I mean? They have classic rock. But see, they have hip hop, and they want to throw everybody under hip hop. They would throw TLC under hip hop.
And that's borderline racist, to be honest with you.
Exactly. And that's what diluted the culture, is when they threw everything that was quote unquote urban under hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
No, it became rap. Everything was just rap.
Exactly. And like he said, when they had record stores, you can go in the record store and you can see classic rock. You can see heavy metal. You know what I mean? You can see acid rock. They had labels for that. Whereas in hip hop, they threw everything under hip hop. And then you divide it out from there.
Well, that is a very good point.
Hell of a point.
And shout to Eric Sherman for bringing it to the foresight. And that's the truth of it all. Once they added it all together into one big soup, for a lack of a better term, that's what diluted the culture.
No,
I'm gonna tell you what diluted the culture also. There's a reality show called Love and Hip Hop. And they don't love the hip hop.
No.
they just love the drama. Why y'all jack our stuff? Y'all could have called it something different, man.
Yeah. I love it, man. And this is the reason why I brought y'all boys on, because I knew y'all was going to have stimulating conversation. So we're going to move and continue on as this continues to heat. And the next thing I want to go to, this is going to go out, ladies. This is more so of relationship time with us. We're going to talk a little bit about man and women one time on Men of a Certain Age. So this one particular certain podcast that I stumbled on, y'all wouldn't think that it would get deep like this with the big podcast. I'm speaking of Shaq's podcast, and Shaq got onto a little topic with his co-host and another guest about opening up to women. So what I want to do is this, man, is I want to go ahead and play that clip. And then when we come back, we're going to go ahead and get into the soup about
like a relationship. The day you fall off, that woman ain't interested as you think.
Yeah, once you start complaining and dragging your feet.
She don't want to hear no complaint. The day you come home and think you could be like, hey, I was down, I lost it. She gonna stroke your ego, but she gonna remember that time. You cannot let them see you one time down. The world can't see your head down one time. Ever. So I'd tell people.
I want you both to know that you can. No. Like, and I know that you've experienced. I don't want to get to Dr. Phil shit right now.
No, but
you don't think you've ever had someone that you really could trust and really open up?
Now, if you want to keep it, now if you want to give somebody else some coochie all the time, you know what I'm saying? If you want a bad one, I'm just being real.
No, I guess.
You open up to a woman?
Yeah.
Never. No, never.
When's the last time you think you've opened up to a woman?
We don't.
In your whole life,
bro. I'm telling you.
We got players like I couldn't. Me and him related.
Yeah.
It's our first time meeting,
yeah,
but I
you guys, there's some connection here.
Oh, no.
They're going to take in.
Because you know why?
Trap.
Because you know why?
I'm trapped
no.
like a motherfucker.
No, I'm going to tell you why. Because once you do, whenever something go down, they're going to throw it back in your face.
So that's
real. Real shit.
So you can't ever.
That's why you cry, because your dad left.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, that was the big podcast featuring Shaquille O'Neal. Now, that clip was from the Art of Dialogue's platform. So I want to send a shout out to the Art of Dialogue. But that was Shaq coming live from the big podcast saying that as a man, you could never open up to a woman. Now, what I want to do first and foremost is I want to go to P first. I want you to lead off here, P, and tell the fellas how you feel or what you think about what Shaq had to say.
Actually, I agree. You have to be really careful as a man because vulnerability can be weaponized. You know what I'm saying? So we have to walk a certain way. We have to hold our head up. We can't show weakness, especially me as a married man and as a leader of my home. You know what I mean? But sometimes I come in the house from the world and whoop my ass. You know what I'm saying? So I'm at the point where can I sit down and talk to my wife about it? Or should I talk to my mans and them who could relate? You know what I'm saying? Because we're logical by nature. They're emotional. You know what I'm saying? So they think with an emotional mind. So if I give that to her and she sees me emotional, later on, her emotional mind will probably weaponize that against me. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't open up to women, even my wife, even my mother. That's why I got y'all, because you guys can relate. And I talk to Les all the time about just shit that's in the world that's going on, just to get his opinion. My man Oba in the city, he called me yesterday. He like, yo, I just was on a date with this girl, and I told her to relax, sweetheart, and the sweetheart just flipped her out. You know what I mean? It's like emotion versus logic, and I'm not gonna combine them both. I'm just gonna let it out with my peoples and my mans in them instead of opening up to a woman again, because emotionally they'll use it against you later on. B. You know what I mean?
Big Don, what you got to say on that, Big Don?
It's different for me, man, because I've probably been in a lot of different types of relationships, and
yes, you have been.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of variables with that, man. But I will say this: I find that not that I can't open up to women, because I've never really had a problem with somebody throwing it back in my face, because I've been able to gauge who I can tell what. I've been a pretty good person that's been able to discern who I can say certain things to. Obviously, I've been surprised by people throwing shit back in my face. Like, yo, what the, you know what I'm saying? I told you this in my, quite possibly my lowest moments, or in complete confidence, and now you throw it in my face to bite me. But there are people that I have ran across that I know that I can say anything to, no matter what it is, women, I should say, women that I can say anything to, and I completely trust them not to judge me, not to bring it back up. in the future, but those are extreme. I can probably only think of maybe literally two women that out of all the women that I know that don't hold anything against me and that I feel completely free and open. But like I said, I agree with you, and it's different for me because, a lot of times because, I'm not home anymore, so I don't have my primary friends that I grew up and people that I really got a chance to gain trust with. And I don't have a lot of my frat brothers down here that I, as well. So it's really taught me to have discernment about people, both male and female, in discussing vulnerabilities, because guys will snake you too, just as fast as females will. You just really have to have discernment and be able to judge who's who to the best of your ability before revealing anything. Mm-hmm.
I agree. Go ahead, Noble. Give us some of that, what you got going on.
I think Noble done took a break real quick.
The thing is, I have a different POV on all of that. One, I don't assign specific classifications of what I will or won't do based on race or gender. I'm more pragmatic, practical, and logical than a lot of people I know. For me, and I'm going to say this respectfully, because many of the people in my life who I hold in high esteem and who I consider friends and family, like all of you, you are all believers. I don't want to make any assumptions for everybody, but in some respect, a lot of people believe in what they call a higher power. Right. I'll say this to say this and whatnot. I don't hide my emotional vulnerability. It's just life to me. What I will do is I keep secrets. Anything I keep that's a secret. That's a secret. You get what I'm saying? I don't mind telling you, hey man, I feel some kind of way about what my son did because I wanted him to do something different and whatnot. That's me being emotionally vulnerable. Yo, why didn't my mother do this or that when I was a kid and whatnot? No, that's neither here nor there. But I categorize people in, like I said, logical, pragmatic, reasonable, because I'll throw it out there in case you don't know. I am an atheist. I can't, you know how people say nobody can judge me but God? I tell people all the time, I can't let people who believe in God judge me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say this respectfully. And I don't say this often because I don't like to, I don't want to actually push away any of my personal relationships with some of my, with my truth. But yeah, that don't bother me and whatnot. I don't care. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. What I won't do is tell you any secrets. Those are two different things. I share my feelings with you. I'm a human. Hell, people share things with me all the time, and I forget most of them.
Real shit.
So I'll share something with you in conversation, and you might forget it. I don't give a damn about it. Hey. Also, like I said, I live in a different spirit because I literally, I'm not pretending. I don't really care what a lot of people think and whatnot because respectfully, if you believe in a higher power and whatnot, you just an adult that believe in Santa Claus to me. Respectfully. Respectfully. Your point of view and whatever your opinion may be on me and whatever you may use that I share with you personally, and you might want to try and weaponize it with you, because that's not even gender specific. Men will do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
A white man will do the exact same thing. A black man will do the exact same thing. I don't care about that and whatnot. But if I look at you and you still believe in God, oh man, your whole commentary to me is
so let me
you
say
can't diss me.
So let me say this, no, I've known that about you for a long time, and you still my man. You know what I'm saying? So as far as what Shaq had to say, I totally disagree. I totally go left on what Shaq said, and I'll tell you a couple reasons. Me myself, I've grown up around strong women, all black women, all my life. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen them be so controlled. Some of them be so controlling and not have a man or whatever to help along the way. You know what I mean? So I salute my black women, and me now being in a relationship that I've been in for a long time, I've grown to know what it is to have a good woman that you can tell your innermost to. You know what I'm saying? Because if you are going to build with that woman, you have to be able to share with her what your visions are and what your hopes, what your aspirations hope to be. I would say to Shaq, you don't think Brother Malcolm built with Sister Betty? You don't.
That's a good point.
You don't think Martin Luther built with Mrs. King, Loretta?
Correct. No doubt.
You don't think they share their innermost with those women? And I don't kick Salt or say Shaq is a fool for saying what he's saying. He has his reasons.
Personal experience. Yeah.
He has his reasons for saying what he was saying. And then I would also say to him, it's your fault for sharing your innermost with women who wasn't down with you or down for you.
Got to be careful.
No, hold on. I was just about to say this, and I didn't want to interrupt you because you had a very strong point about what you just said. You know what I mean? Because it's cliche to say teamwork make the dream work and whatnot. You definitely need you a co-pilot. But I will say this. I think Shaq might have revealed some personal flaws. Because, listen, respectfully, I'm in charge of every relationship I've been a part of. You can't weaponize anything against me and whatnot. Because, again, if it's a pyramid, I'm at the top of this and whatnot. And it has to be like that. So, what do they say? Your arms is too short to box with God.
And at the end of the day, if it's my truth, you can't hurt me with it.
You can't.
If it's my truth, you cannot weaponize it against me. You know what I mean? Because I'm already living in that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we all have our own perspectives on this particular topic.
I think the big problem with his comment is, and this is 100. The problem with his comment is the fact that, as we all recognize nowadays, mental health issues are a problem. And the reason they're a problem is because there aren't enough people who want to be emotionally available and say, yo, I'm having trouble with something. If you think about it, there are so many things that have happened, crimes of passion. When I'm somebody who suffered a loss in my family from suicide. Yo,
sorry to hear that.
My nephew needed to be more emotionally available. He needed to share that with somebody. That wasn't a secret he was supposed to hold to himself. So no matter who it is, whether I'm talking to you, Fro, when I'm talking to P, even if I was talking to Don and I'm hating on the hair still, listen, I might need to have a conversation. And that might be the conversation that I need to have that walks me back from the ledge. I'm a little disappointed in Shaq in the fact that, hey, you are a man of a very specific age who has more time behind him than in front of him, and you need to share those experiences, man. It's okay to be emotionally vulnerable here and there, no matter to who it is.
I think that boils back to what all of us said. Like what D said, he has to maintain a certain level of respect in his household. So he has learned enough discernment to go to Fro, you know what I'm saying? Fro was talking about, hey, listen, I know who to say, I'm saying what to. Same thing with you, Noble. I basically said the same thing. I think it basically boils down to discernment, man. You can be emotionally free, you can be emotionally divested, whatever the case may be, as long as you're saying it to the right person.
You gotta let it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta let it out to somebody. You know what I'm saying? That should drive you crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the most important thing is that regardless of how much money you have, how famous you are, if you're not a good judge of people, then
you fucked up.
Right.
You fucked up.
But hold on. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about this even more, I guess maybe it's because none of us have ever been in the position that Shaq is in. Because Shaq has always been rich and successful. They're going to weaponize what he shares with them.
It's personal experience. Yeah.
Yeah. They want to actually manipulate him with that information that they have. But I'm not gonna share anything with somebody I don't trust.
Even with that being said, no, Shaq he got to even be a better judgment of character.
Exactly. His discernment has to be amazing.
He has to be an even better judgment of character because of who he is and what he has, that he has to know. Everybody is coming at him for what he has. Ain't nobody getting at you. Nobody getting at you because you look good. You know what I mean? Somebody, dude, somebody might think you're attractive, but 9 times out of 10, they see that big ass dollar sign that's all over. So, and with that being said, that he has to have his antennas satellite style up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No. And again, it was a context to what we didn't get the whole conversation. It might have been dating women. Should you open up to them? Of course, you ain't supposed to give somebody you just getting to know all of your business or your innermost. You would be silly to do that. But you would think your better half, you would be able to say, yo, this nigga at the job site, man, I'm gonna fuck around and hit him with a 2-piece special.
Yeah, certain things you can divulge, but certain things you can't go because you don't want to see that side of them. If they do use it against you, then you put yourself in that position. Okay, now I've realized who you are because you weaponizing what I gave you from my heart. Now we can't be together. You know what I'm saying? So you're protecting yourself from breaking up a relationship too sometimes. Some things you got to talk to your mans and them about. You got to compartmentalize. You know what I'm saying? You got to, some things you can't talk to your significant other about. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know how she going to take it or what she going to do with it 6 months down the line. And if you see that, you're going to be like, man, I can't even, you know what I'm saying, open myself up to you with you bringing it back on me. You know what I mean? You just got to be able to, like you said, discernment. You got to be able to know when to say, what to say, and who to say it to. But you got to let it out.
So let me just put
you said that correctly too, P.
Go ahead, Noble. Then we're gonna put a pin in this and move on. Go ahead.
No, I got you. No, I what he said was correct and whatnot. But I guess while I'm thinking about this in the moment and whatnot, for me, it's never what you're saying. It's just the fact that you attempted to try to hurt my feelings by using that information.
The attempt, yeah.
It's not going to hurt my feelings, but the fact that you believe
that
if
you attempted
use that information. That's when I can't fuck with
you.
Also, that's why you don't got no secrets.
No doubt. So last but not least, y'all, we gonna take this soup off the stove here and go ahead.
Man, hot. The soup is hot, baby.
Get it off the stove. But the last thing we're gonna break it off is into this legal ego aspect of it all. And we bringing it down to the dirty. I'm in the South, but Don is in the dirty. And what I'm talking about here, man, is I'm talking about DA Fonnie Willis out of the great state of Georgia and out of the city of Atlanta. With this Fonnie Willis thing, y'all,
I've heard about this.
It's a pod that I frequent every now and again because Van Lathan. Are y'all familiar with Van? You know who Van is? No?
Yeah, I am familiar with Van, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm familiar with this story. It's something specific to her boyfriend.
We're gonna get into
the money he got. Yeah,
we're gonna get into all that. Don, you familiar with Van, right?
Of course, he used to be on TMZ.
Exactly, and P, I know you know who Van is, and
no
so
doubt.
I like Van. I should say, I started watching Van when Van kicked the real shit to Kanye. So that's when Van really came on to my radar because I'm not a real big TMZ type dude. But when I saw that clip of him giving the real shit to Kanye, I'm like, man, this dude is somebody I need to pay attention to see what he's saying from time to time. So now he has a pod, which is called Higher Learning, with a lady by the name of Rachel Lindsay. Rachel Lindsay was the first Black bachelorette. So they have...
Funny fact, 6 degrees of separation. I had a conversation with Van a while ago in New York, a long time ago. I met him at a club, and we talked about the Kanye thing and whatnot. But go ahead.
He seemed like a cool dude, somebody that's approachable that you can say peace to. I like your work, and he'll probably engage with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up, no. But they have formed a pod which is called Higher Learning, and on this particular episode, they were addressing some of the Fonnie Willis situation. So what I'm going to do is this, man, is do what we do. We're going to go ahead and bring up a clip and listen to what they got to say, probably maybe 3 to 4 minutes so that y'all can get a feel of what's going on and what's being said, and then we'll come back and do what we do, all right?
All right.
Is the case against Donald Trump in Georgia involving his alleged fake electors plot in jeopardy could be due to rising allegations of impropriety aimed at Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis, whose salacious relationship with a subordinate in her office is raising questions. We're going to talk about this today. Now, we already have a legal eagle here, but we have to bring in two legal eagles.
A real one.
Two legal eagles.
I was like, ooh, come on,
I was
podcast.
being dramatic. Okay, so let me just say this. Donald Trump is the first former president in U.S. history to face criminal charges. And this case out of Georgia is potentially the most damaging case against him, right? The interference in the last election, pressuring state officials, all of that. But now, instead of talking about what Trump allegedly did, we're now having to talk about DA Fonnie Willis. Her relationship or alleged relationship, let me talk about how to get a prosecutor disqualified on a case and what a prosecutor actually needs to do in a case and why it is important for a prosecutor to never, ever have an appearance of impropriety. Ever. Because I don't really quite understand why she would appoint someone who allegedly she has a relationship with. When you're dealing with the magnitude of this case, when you're dealing with a former president, when you're dealing with the public scrutiny that comes with being a DA in and of itself.
Everybody know that in Atlanta. Everybody knows she was fucking him.
Why?
The dick makes you do crazy.
Dumb off
Wait,
the dick.
Dumb off the dick.
The dick makes you do crazy things.
Are we going to talk like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
all
the
see.
dick makes you do crazy.
Everybody's been there. Everybody's been there.
I've never been there.
Hey, yo.
She ran against the incumbent DA on this I'm ethical platform, right? And when you're dealing with a former president who has multiple charges against him and multiple criminal cases, who goes out into the public and literally will rail on the judge, the prosecutor, anybody in that courtroom. Hell, the court reporter could get it, right? You are going to make sure that everything is buttoned up. And so I don't understand. And he accused her of dating a drug dealer is what he said.
Before that, yeah.
Before that.
Yeah.
So you think by paying your alleged lover more than $650,000, no one is going to find out? Nobody? And then on top of that, he is in the middle of a divorce. And you've got his now estranged wife who's saying, hey, I want you to come testify in my divorce. And she's thinking, Fonnie is thinking, oh, this is a collusion, sort of a plan. She's working with the Trump team to embarrass me. No, she's saying
A scorned woman.
She's saying you had something to do with the breakup of my marriage, and I want you to come testify to that. So what do I think? What is the question again, Van? You threw me off.
The question is, how much trouble is the case actually?
Okay. Are we talking legally or politically? Because legally, not so much. Politically, completely different.
I couldn't care less about the political ramifications of it. I don't care how it appears. I care what actually happens substantively to the case.
Okay. In order to remove a prosecutor from a case on the basis of conflict of interest, there has to be some sort of a finding that the prosecutor's conflicting loyalties is going to be prejudicial to the defendant, which could result in a wrongful conviction. So, for example, if a prosecutor dealt with a defense lawyer on the same case, if law enforcement was dealing with a witness. So to put things in perspective, if we were dealing with cases involving married attorneys on opposing sides of a case, right? So you and I are trying a case. We're married. You're a defense lawyer. I'm a prosecutor.
Right.
Okay. The Georgia Supreme Court has found that there is no conflict of interest.
Interesting.
Even though a marital relationship may be one of the most intimate relationships of a person's life, it doesn't mean that professional people will allow that intimacy to interfere with their professional obligations. So the conflict would arise, you would think, between spouses on opposing sides of the case, more so than if you were on the same side of a case working toward the same outcome. So there's no reasonable argument to be made here in this case that non-married attorneys in a romantic relationship serving as prosecutors together on a case would create a conflict for a defendant.
So y'all get the gist of what's going on, right? So the DA has hired her lover on the team to be a prosecutor in the case. So Don,
more than $150,000 too, by the way. I'm actually aware of this one. She actually paid him close to $200,000. He didn't have any experience in prosecuting the type of trial. And also, allegedly, his divorce is a result of her actually paying him.
Ooh.
Because he started getting paid and he was like, yeah, I'm done with her. And that's why his wife is.
So Don, so Don, you right there in the backyard of the ATL. You got the ins and the outs. I know you got something to say on DA Willis. So go ahead and open up with both barrels.
I always tell people that if you're gonna commit a crime, as long as you don't murder nobody, as long as you don't do anything that's physically harmful. If you don't rape, rob, or murder anybody in Fulton County, you really don't have too much to worry about. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it is. We got black DA, black judges. It's a black county. So there's a different way of things happening down here. Now, remember I said earlier that I had a lot of different experience with a lot of different type of people. About 3 years ago, maybe 4, maybe about 3.5 years ago, I met this girl on Tinder. And she was an attorney, right?
You don't say. Tinder?
Yeah, right?
No.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I met her on Tinder, and she was, she's fine. She was like 5'9", chocolate, probably like 100.
Right here.
She's probably like 180 pounds. Like she's sexy, like sexy. You know what I'm saying? Me and her developed a real cool relationship with each other. We did a lot of different things together. She was my personal attorney for a long while, so on and so forth. But she actually happened to get a position with one of the local district attorney's office. And so even though she
hold on. Allegedly.
No, she did.
I don't want you to do nothing.
I didn't say which one. I didn't say which one. I didn't say which one. Believe me, it's the reason I didn't say which one. But she literally got a position on one of the local district attorney's offices. Me and her, we've been kicking it for a long time, and we do a lot of different things together, right? So I told her, she was like, you know what? Do you want to be in a relationship with me? So on and so forth. And I was like, you know what? I dig you. You're a great person, so on and so forth. But I know that with the scrutiny that's coming down for the departments in the state of Georgia, especially the Atlanta metro area, that me and you wouldn't be a good match at this time. Literally, we would not be a good match. I don't want MSNBC or fucking Fox News camped outside of my house, because even though you have nothing to do with that case, invariably they try to find some kind of way to try to tie me into it. It's crazy. We had a great relationship. We had great everything together. But I haven't heard from her since I told her to step off, man, because I know that these guys are going to be looking for any possible way to get to dilute or to pollute the black power base that we have here when it comes to the district attorney's office. That's real shit.
Okay. Can I jump in too? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, well, go ahead, fam. It's okay. You a guest. You can go ahead.
No, what she did was niggerish.
Who, Bonnie?
Oh, man, fam, listen. So I actually am very aware about the district attorney and ATL and everything that's going on. Here's some additional facts that
you gonna say. Don't say about the big nut thing. You talk about the big nut thing too.
No. Yo, so here's the scrutiny that she's under, though. The scrutiny that she's under is that she actually hired 3 attorneys to help her in this prosecution. All right? So that's something that they didn't discuss in that clip. And the reason why it jumps out as being something that was ethically inappropriate and because they have a personal link is she hired a white man, a white male attorney. She hired a white female attorney, and she hired allegedly her lover, who's a black male. Of the 3, he was paid the highest. He got close to $200,000. The other 2, who actually had prosecutorial experience, they got paid less than $100,000. So the favoritism involved in this is way too obvious. And that personal link is what compromises her completely.
Yeah.
Again, like I was saying earlier, I'm a very pragmatic and logical person. At least I attempt to be. So if I'm outside looking in, I gotta ask, okay, cool. If you wanted to be above the board and you wanted to help out your mate, allegedly, pay everybody the same dollar amount. Yeah, let him get some money. No doubt about it. Let him get his too. But to keep it above the fray, you got to pay everybody the same thing. So you can't pay one person, two persons with the experience needed to prosecute the case less than your boo. And that's where she messed up.
So what we need to pay attention to is if she gets removed from the case.
This is what I'm saying. Politically, she's losing credibility. So if she's trying to prosecute Trump, her credibility is shot. Now, from my perspective, this is the same lady who's trying to criminalize rap lyrics, right?
Hold on.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that, right? That's what I want to mention. Like, she's also doing the YSL case. They just wrapped the YFN Lucci case. Now, the word on the street in Atlanta is that she was smashing Big Nut. All right. Now, if y'all don't know who Big Nut is, Big Nut was the reason why the whole feud started between Young Thug and whoever, YFN Lucci and whoever the hell else he was beefing. Him getting killed over in Castleberry. Remember, we went to Castleberry and had 255 less and had drinks. All right. He got killed over in that area. So based upon that, when she became district attorney, the first thing she said is that she's going to prosecute the people who were responsible for the mom's son, and AKA her lover at the time, Big Nut. So that's
the question is, should this prevent her from prosecuting Donald Trump?
Absolutely not. But here's the thing about it: people don't realize that Atlanta isn't Georgia, and you live in the South. You live in the Southwest, so I guess you understand what I'm saying, right?
Bible.
Like, you may have a large, like you had the two guys that were causing the Tennessee Three, and the white girls only one that really benefited from it. I'm saying Nashville, Memphis are not the fucking state. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta is not Atlanta, Savannah, the urban areas are not Georgia. So outside of Georgia, where you have a bunch of prosecutors who would never, ever do anything to Trump, you are having influence on the Georgia Supreme Court. So that's what you have to watch now. You have to watch whether the Georgia Supreme Court disallows Fonnie Willis to continue with the case as an ethical violation. Not saying that changes any of their evidence. They're just basically taking away the head of the organization, because she can defer to other attorneys in the Fulton County office, and they're excellent attorneys. But you have to understand that outside of Atlanta is where this case is going to be determined.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the majority of the state isn't Atlanta, even though we are the largest demographic area in the state, and we're definitely a left-leaning area.
And to make a long story short, what you're saying is those other district attorneys might say, "Fuck that, I ain't prosecuting that case."
Exactly.
You know,
the other district attorneys actually put in a motion to get Fonnie Willis removed by the state of Georgia earlier this year, based upon they put it. This was before all this happened. They put it in there, saying that they want the state to take control of to discipline any district attorney within the state at their discretion. And it failed because it was all basically about Fonnie Willis taking Trump for charges.
So to put a pin in this one, I'm just going to go around and just ask, P, do you believe that she should be removed from the case because of her outside of the office?
I think she will be removed, but I don't think she should be. If she's doing what she's supposed to do.
What you say, Don? Should she be removed, or should she remain?
I don't think that she should be removed, because I'm looking at relevance. What relevance does that have with Donald Trump actually committing the crimes that he committed in the state of Georgia against the people of Georgia? However, I do think that, like Noble said, the compensation for his participation should be even.
Right.
Noble, do you believe she should be removed from the case?
Yeah, absolutely. But let me share with you why. Here's the problem. And also, perfect context. I was joking earlier and whatnot. I don't want Trump to be president. He's an irresponsible individual.
Very.
And
the worst.
The problem with what she did supports his narrative of the fact that they're coming after him. And he rightfully he needs to be prosecuted. But the problem is that if his base is galvanized to come out and vote with record support, he could become president again. And if he becomes president again, he's definitely going to do as much as possible to become a dictator.
Yeah.
And I don't fuck with dictators. I don't fuck with no gods, no kings, and no masters. And he's not smart to me either.
No, he's not.
I don't ever want to see him in a position of power. I just want to see him go back to doing whatever that show was. What was that name of the show he used to be on?
In jail. That's where I want to see him. I want to see him in jail.
Yeah.
But just listen,
I
man.
want to see him in jail on TV lying to people.
So-
but I don't want to see him in a presidential office.
So 4 out of 4 doctors agree that DA Fonnie Willis needs to stay on the case.
Oh no. She needs to be removed from the case.
Okay, so
she has to be removed from the case. She needs to be replaced with a conservative prosecutor, somebody who has the same political views, who's going to actually do what lawyers do. If you're a lawyer, you subscribe to what they call IRAC. When you approach a legal case, you should be looking at the issue, the rule, the application of the law, and develop a conclusion. That's what IRAC is. Issue, rules, application, and conclusion. They need somebody who's going to be objective enough to say, yo, this is just the law. This is how the law applies. And this is what the conclusion should be.
But
I don't need her
to say, I think for the most part, that's what she's been doing. Has been doing her job. Whatever she's been doing in her personal life, that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on in the courtroom.
That is the problem, though, because her personal life has actually affected the case. Because her boo, allegedly, he's not qualified to prosecute the kind of case that they have. That's what the issue is with this right here. He's not qualified. He got double for what 2 other attorneys who had the experience to prosecute that case.
And let me say this to you. How long have the Europeans been doing the exact same thing, my dude?
Fam. But that's the past.
I'm saying they still doing it right now. You don't think they're doing it right now?
Yeah, but you got to be above board. No, listen, I see things through a completely different lens nowadays.
Okay.
And it's important for me to say this because I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem being emotionally vulnerable and telling all of you I am politically conservative. All this shit don't fly with me no more. I don't need Donald Trump to be president.
It's all right to be, as long as you don't come out the closet and turn out to be Tim Scott. That's when I have to turn my back on it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, this was the latest episode of The Scoop. For Noble, thanks for coming in. For Don, thanks for coming in. P Double, again, y'all always have to remember, it's the same old soup. We just reheating it, y'all.
No doubt.
Until next time, man. Peace.
I hope your teams all win today.
Peace, gentlemen.